have you heard this story? This is unbelievable. It's this kid, Ibrahim Todashev. And I got no love for him. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know him. They had him connected to Tamerlan Tsarnaev, who was the Boston bomber. He was the older brother who's already dead, killed by the police. Now, apparently, this Ibrahim Todashev has no connection to the Boston bombings, but he does have a connection to Tamerlan, and the authorities say that he was about to sign a confession where he confessed to a 2011 killing with Tamerlan of 3 other people. Now, as I'm about to tell you, you might not really trust the authorities in this case, given what happened next. So, as they're questioning him, and they had been questioning him for some time, and he'd even told his friend in between the questioning that I think they're going to kill me. Now, that's what his friend says, okay? And it turns out they killed him. And we covered the story in the beginning. They're at his house for some reason, and they claim that he lunged at one of the officers, and he had a knife, and he stabbed the FBI agent several times. But on the day that we covered that story, I said it's really weird because press reports had him with a knife and then without a knife, and they would keep switching the story back and forth. One particular press report had it with a knife, then later the editors took the knife out of the story. Well, let me describe to you what has happened today. First of all, as they explained on Huffington Post, law enforcement officials initially told ABC News that Todashev just went crazy brandishing a knife and stabbing the FBI agent. But now we find out, because of Washington Post, this. An unnamed source contradicted that account, however, telling the Washington Post today that Todashev had no weapon. But Todashev did flip over the table and lunge at the FBI agent, the source said. Wait a minute. There's a big difference between the FBI agent got stabbed a couple of times and the guy turned over the table. So, massive investigation is necessary here. And so when those same FBI agents tell me, oh, trust me, he was guilty, he was about to sign a confession. No, I don't trust you. You told me he stabbed you, now you tell me he just flipped over a table. You know how many times they shot him? 7 times. 6 times in the torso, 1 time in the head. Now his father, Abdulbaki Todashev, came out and said, look, quote, I can show you the photos taken after the killing of my son. I have 16 photographs. I just would like to say that looking at these photos is like being in a movie. I only saw things like that in movies. Shooting a person and then the kill shot. 6 shots in the body, 1 of them in the head. And he is now saying that his son was basically executed by the FBI. And he's showing the pictures there. Again, the friend that had been questioned along with him had gone in and looked and apparently taken these pictures in the morgue of Ibrahim Todashev. And you can see in the pictures clearly the bullet holes, including the one in his head. Now, you don't shoot a guy 7 times for turning over a table, man. Especially when you think you have the situation under control and you've been already interviewing him in that context for hours upon hours. This story is super fishy. And the FBI agents that were along with the guy who did the shooting initially said, yes, there was a knife. Now they're saying, we don't know what happened. But you were in the room. What do you mean you don't know what happened? So them changing their story indicates to a normal average person, it appears that they were trying to cover for their fellow agent, and now the shit has hit the fan, and they're like, backpedal. So we don't know what happened in that room yet, but we do know that it should be heavily investigated because this guy was just flat out killed. Is there a good reason for it? Certainly doesn't look like it right now. We'll get more evidence and find out.